book the flight?
Well, the stuff isn't showing up properly.
Oh,
what? Like it says that I'm supposed to leave at 9:30, but it's not showing a gate number or a plane or like anything. So I was like, oh, that's weird. So then I looked it up on Google and it was like, there's no flights leaving at that time. So I'm like, okay, so we fucking clearly need to figure out what plane I'm on. Yeah.
When do you go, tonight or?
Yeah, I'll leave it tonight. So later.
Ah, shit. Okay. Okay. Welcome at Unconfiscatable here with Dennis Porter. Finally, how is it going?
I'm having a great time. Had a fun time doing the panel and looking forward to answering some questions now.
What's your vision? So you're very active. Tell us, what is your vision?
Yeah, I mean, my vision is for the United States to become one of the most pro-Bitcoin countries in the world. I really think that we have an opportunity as a freedom-loving, decentralized governance model nation, as a republic, to move forward in a way where we're more like El Salvador and a lot less like the CCP.
Does competitive governance, how far does that go?
I mean, really what's going on is you see these states competing not only for voters to increase their tax base, but also the industry. This is something that the EU has tried to mimic, and now the United Nations is not really doing a good job of it. But in the United States, it's a very successful model. It's led to states like California being leaders on the tech. It's led to states being leaders on oil and gas and energy. It's led to states being leaders on automobiles. And I think that we can really have the same thing happen with Bitcoin in America as well.
Mm-hmm. What's your take on El Salvador? I guess you are happy about it.
My parents have lived there for 7 years, so I'm pretty positive about what's happening in El Salvador. I think that there's definitely an education gap with people there, but ultimately this will be a very positive thing for that country.
I guess every American and also every Bitcoiner would agree with what you said initially, the statement that to make America a Bitcoin country. So what's the process? How could that work?
Yeah, I mean, we just want to mimic what El Salvador did, which is to make Bitcoin legal tender there. After El Salvador made Bitcoin legal tender, for the first time in their history, they had double percentage GDP growth. And so that's my vision. I want the United States to be much more like that. I want to attract investment. I want to have the Bitcoiners come here and stay here. Because, I mean, every time I talk to someone, they're like thinking about where they're going to move. Where are they going to go that's going to attract them the most? And I want them to stay here in America because I plan to be here in America and I want this country to be the best place for Bitcoiners so that my home is the best place. Like I know it's like selfish, but ultimately I want this to be the best place to buy, sell, trade, mine, hodl Bitcoin, and making sure Bitcoin is legal tender here is a big part of that.
So there's a lot of critique, obviously, from Bitcoiners because like legal tender means like you're forced to actually accept stuff, and so what's your argument against that, or like why are you so much in favor to having the government decide top down, just like they did, with printing money and everything else that's bad, top down decision, let's do that. Why is that a good thing?
Yeah, I mean, really, when it comes to legal tender, it's extremely popular. So there may be some critics out there, but there's always going to be critics. Bitcoin legal tender is not something that's going to force everybody to have to accept it. I mean, gold and silver are legal tender in America, and you don't see the government forcing everybody to take gold and silver. So it's really about the way it's structured. And the bill I'm working on in California that I'm trying to help educate lawmakers on, that is one where it would be permissible. It would not be forced. So it's kind of FUD to say that this is something that would force people to use it. Also, just broadly, Bitcoiners want this. They want to push legal tender forward. It's very obvious in the way that you can see the support of what's happened in El Salvador, and just honestly the conversations that I'm having with people on the ground.
What's your take on like Bitcoin is still a grassroots movement, right? So how much of the adoption has to happen, just spontaneously, right? The natural order, just the plebs and the people in the community, educating and adopting.
Well, I think that's always going to be how Bitcoin is, at least for a very long time. We don't have a marketing team. There's no central authority. There's no CEO of Bitcoin, right? So it comes down to the average person getting out there and educating others. And we're seeing the impacts of that play out today. We're also seeing now, for the first time ever, we're getting hardcore, solid Bitcoiners in media. We're getting people to go on Fox News. We're getting people to go on the major news stations, MSM. We're getting people to go on Joe Rogan. So the impact is growing, and I think that I don't think it's going to slow down anytime soon. It just comes down to grassroots movement of individual Bitcoiners continuing to push this thing forward.
Yeah, awesome. I mean, it's I think the vision is just incredible. Like to just anticipate and imagine the future of the U.S. So what's your in detail? Maybe what kind of economy do you see? What kind of culture do you see? What kind of development dynamic do you see evolving based on Bitcoin in the U.S.?
Well, with a money that incentivizes production. Versus fiat money, which is more or less the opposite of that. I see Americans becoming more productive. I see more goods being made in America, and I see our economy being rebuilt on this idea of made in America, built in America, sold in America. We need to really get back to that, the way that we were before the fiat system started to take over.
Awesome. So yeah, I wish you best of success for your political career. How can people help you, support you?
Yeah, I mean, if you go to singleissuevoter.com, you can find some of the campaigns that we're running to push legislators with messaging. You can send a message in 30 to 60 seconds or less and send a message to your state officials or your federal officials and let them know that either you're a single issue voter, that you are for legal tender, that you want to protect proof of work mining, or that you want to protect self-custody and peer-to-peer transactions in America. And there will be a lot more coming down the way. But yeah, find me on Twitter and DM me if you want to hear more about what's coming.
Last bonus question. So what do you love the most about the US and what do you hate the most or dislike the most?
Love the most and hate the most. I mean, really, it's this idea of like competition, and competition is what enables a better end product for consumers. And that's why I love the Republic, the model that we have, because it drives competition on a state-by-state basis. That's how Bitcoin is going to succeed and thrive here. I think getting away from that decentralized model is something I haven't recently liked about America. I think we need to get back to our decentralized model and focus on making sure that power does not centralize in this country.
You're gonna run for mayor or governor somewhere in California?
No plans right now. No plans.
If I look at my watch, like I think maybe Bitcoin adoption like 5 years, 10 years. If you push the legal tender, so I think like in 5 years we could see you in California.
So I believe that 5 to 10 years is a critical time that we need to be making sure and laying the foundation for Bitcoin in this country, because if we don't do it, some other countries will, and then people are going to want to go there. I personally don't have the plan or the desire to leave America. And so I'm going to do everything I can to make sure that we keep Bitcoiners, Bitcoin capital, and Bitcoin industry in the United States.
Thank you so much, Dennis, for your time. Thanks.
Appreciate it. Yeah. Thanks, Steve.